We've deployed large amounts of time, money, and effort in the search for justice.
Not good enough.
Welcome to your weekly ticket. We're back, baby. Fresh off Chloe Zhao's historic win at the Academy Awards, Kevin Feige is sharing her approach to Eternals. Speaking to Variety, Feige detailed Zhao's push to really fight for practical locations and elements even in a film full of heavy visual effects and characters with extraordinary powers. He also went on to reveal the film's lead, saying, "There were some characters that we changed from male to female. There were some characters that we knew we were altering from the comic books. If there was a lead in this ensemble, it is Cersei, played by Gemma Chan." And via a Back to Theaters teaser from Marvel Studios, we got a look at the first footage from the movie, from Salma Hayek on horseback to Chan's Cersei. Emily V. Gordon and Kumail Nanjiani have found their next project. The couple will be working on an adaptation of the Edward Gorey book, The Doubtful Guest. It director Andy Muschietti, who is currently shooting DC's The Flash in London, will direct with Nanjiani attached to star. The story follows a mysterious penguin-like creature. Its unannounced and unwelcome arrival at a family's home stirs up trouble and chaos. Godzilla vs. Kong director Adam Wingard is in talks to helm the next Monsterverse film. Godzilla vs. Kong, which debuted in the States at the end of March, has crossed $400 million globally, making it the top-grossing Hollywood-produced movie released since the start of the pandemic. One title being floated around for the sequel is Son of Kong, which was the sequel to the original 1933 King Kong. We're kicking off Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month by taking a look at some of our favorite AAPI films. In recent years, we've seen a rise in Asian American representation on the big screen, with films like Crazy Rich Asians, Lulu Wang's The Farewell, and of course, Always Be My Maybe. Mwah, love that film. Today we're talking to editor at Rotten Tomatoes Alex Vo, who helped curate this list of Rotten Tomatoes' 65 best Asian American movies. All right, Alex, what's a film from this list that you think is not talked about enough?
I'm going to go with Chan is Missing from 1982. It's considered the first Asian American film. It was written and directed by Wayne Wang, who's Asian, and it's predominantly a Asian American cast. It's a comedy drama. It's about this guy who lives in Chinatown, and he's trying to open a taxi cab company, and his partner, whose name is Chan, he goes missing. And so he's trying to go around town. He's trying to find like where's Chan, and everybody he talks to sort of has a sort of different interpretation of who Chan is and what happened with the money. And what's kind of interesting about it is there's a couple of different interpretations you could have. I like Roger Ebert's interpretation is that what the movie is talking about is how everybody has different interpretations of Chan. It talks about how we sort of perceive Asian Americans through fictions, how we see them through movies or television, or only really know them through getting food at restaurants. So it's an interesting way of sort of having Americans sort of take in their interpretation of how we see outsiders or people who don't look like us.
I can't believe the first Asian American film came out in 82.
Yeah,
that's too recent.
Really. Yeah, and I think it costs like $20,000 to make. Shot.
Oh my God.
San Francisco. Yeah. I think a lot of like San Francisco university students are in it. But it's a trip. Like if you like Jim Jarmusch movies, you'll vibe to this for sure.
Well, there's a lot of John Cho films on this list. He makes 4 appearances on the list. What are your favorites that show off his range?
Searching, which is the thriller where it's a one-man show where he's in front of a computer and he's just trying to find his daughter. I think that's really impressive. I think what's interesting about his career is sort of like, you first saw him as like the MILF guy from American Pie, and that's how good a performance is. Like he could turn that into a career.
He's got range.
Yeah. And then, and it's so rare really to see an Asian American actor where you kind of see him mature and evolve. Next he did Better Luck Tomorrow. Year after that, he's like, a college stoner or post-college stoner in Harold and Kumar. And then 10 years later, now he's like a dad in the thriller. It's a kind of a gift to be able to show off that range. And
it's cool that he experimented with such a unique style of film too, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Now, you have written a personal essay about Rotten Tomatoes. What's something that you think that people should know about how Rotten Tomatoes has changed over the years?
So the first thing I wanted to talk about in this essay is that it was founded by Asian Americans, and it's an Asian American story. And it's a really positive story. And I think it was sort of important to sort of talk about that in this moment. One of the interesting things in regards to how we sort of now talk about movies is, Sen Duong, who was the founder or co-founder of Rotten Tomatoes. In 1999, that was when Rotten Tomatoes employees first started getting invited to screenings. So Sen shows up to watch The Haunting, that horror remake with Liam Neeson. And the studio guy goes like, "This is fake. You don't belong here," and he got kicked out. And for him, and to speak to his character, he resolved, like, the reason I got kicked out was because online critics were seen as second-class citizens. And his reaction to that was, you know what, I'm going to put more online critics into Rotten Tomatoes, because he saw Rotten Tomatoes as a possible way to champion those voices. So, I mean, really, like, what's changed is, like, now we don't even think about the difference between online critics or a newspaper critic, and through his actions over time, we kind of got to that point. And that's a really cool story.
Yeah, it's not about where the voice is coming from. It's just the voice itself. So
exactly,
it doesn't need to be from the paper. It could be from online. Wherever you need to communicate through, everyone's gonna get a voice in, and we're gonna get to hear them all, and it's gonna be that's great. Love it. All right, well, thank you for coming on the show, Alex. So where can people find you? You
can find me on a website called RottenTomatoes.com. That's where I sort of live and breathe.
All right, I think I got that one. I'll see you there too, man. Available to watch in theaters on Friday is Wrath of Man.
I need to know who's responsible. I killed my son.
Mysterious and wild-eyed, a new security guard for a cash truck surprises his coworkers when he unleashes precision skills during a heist. The crew is left wondering who he is and where he came from. Soon, the marksman's ultimate motive becomes clear as he takes dramatic and irrevocable steps to settle a score. The film is directed by Guy Ritchie and stars Jason Statham, Holt McCallany, and Scott Eastwood. And available to watch on Vudu is Mainstream.
Are you prepared to let the world see the real you?
He's not who he says he is.
In Mainstream, a young woman played by Maya Hawke thinks she's found a path to internet stardom when she starts making YouTube videos with a charismatic stranger played by Andrew Garfield. That is, of course, until the dark side of viral celebrity threatens to ruin them both. The film is written and directed by Gia Coppola. All right, everyone, well, that's it for today, but before you go, leave us a comment and let us know what you'll be watching this week. I'm Khail, and I'll see you next time.